This is totally beyond stupid for a 45. 45 basically is playing the victim here because he likes to play victim. 45 attacks the impeachment inquiry and accuses the witnesses of lying when technically 45 is the biggest liar that we know of. Coming out of Washington, 45 unleashed a series of falsehoods on Friday in an effort to invalidate the impeachment inquiry and counter sworn testimony from officials in his own administration after a week of damaging public hearings. In a 53-minute phone interview with foe and friends, with foe and enemies, basically, is what it should be called, 45 accused David Holmes, a political counselor to the American ambassador in Ukraine, of fabricating a phone call between 45 and the American ambassador to the European Union. Mr. Holmes told impeachment investigators that he had overheard the squatter asking Ambassador Gordon D. Sondland about Ukrainian investigations into his political rivals, a consequential detail in the Democrats' impeachment inquiry. 45 claims that I guarantee you that never took place, which it did. He added that he barely knew Sondland, bullshit, a wealthy hotelier from Oregon, who contributed $1 million to 45's inaugural committee. In his own testimony, Sondland corroborated Mr. Holmes' account. The interview on Friday, broadcast live and commercial-free with the view of the foe and enemy's hosts speaking by phone to 45, gave the squatter a chance to respond to the damaging revelations of the past week and reprise widely debunked theories and some of his favorite lines of attack. To start, 45 called Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, a sick puppy, a corrupt politician, and the first witness you would want to call in a Senate impeachment trial. Yeah, if anybody wants to talk about being corrupt, look at you, 45. You're the most corrupt person there is. Will he be impeached? I don't expect it, the squatter said. I think it's very hard for them to impeach you when they have absolutely nothing. Of course, 45, they actually have shit on you, so don't try to lie your way out of this. Some of 45's top aides and legal advisors anticipating that the Democratic-led House would impeach 45, and they met with Republican senators on Thursday to strategize over what they would do. 45 also said he knows the identity of the anonymous whistleblower, which he does not, whose complaint prompted the impeachment inquiry, and asserted that the details in the complaint were fake, which they're not. The July 25th phone call between 45 and Ukraine's president Volodymyr Zelensky was perfect. He said, "Why should we give money to a country that's known corrupt?" 45 also said the Obama administration spied on his campaign, which is not true. An accusation leveled without evidence on Twitter in the early days of his administration. They tried to overthrow the squad and see this is a disgrace. He also said Ukraine interfered in the 2016 election, which not true either, with the goal of helping Hillary Clinton. An unsubstantiated theory. They've never been able to prove that, so don't forget Ukraine hated me. They were after me in the election. Bullshit. This guy Sondland, hardly know him. 45 said, I've had a couple conversations with him. 45 said, I see him hanging around when I go to Europe. He's full of shit. Sondland is posted in Brussels and testified that he had spoken to the squatter on the phone at least 20 times, if not more. Mr. Holmes, in public testimony on Thursday, described in detail the phone call between 45 and Sondland during a lunch with two other officials from the state senate as they dined outdoors at a Kyiv restaurant and shared a bottle of wine. Mr. Holmes said Sondland and 45 were discussing a recent meeting with Zelensky just one day after the phone call between the leaders, which is at the heart of the impeachment investigation. According to Holmes, the squatter asked Mr. Sondland if Mr. Zelensky would pursue the investigations he sought into Democrats. Sondland assured 45 that he's going to do it, and that the Ukrainian leader would do anything you ask him to. When the call ended, Holmes said the ambassador told 45 he did not care about Ukraine, only about big things like the investigations into the former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. A day before Holmes' testimony, Sondland publicly implicated the squatter and other senior administration officials into the pressure campaign against Ukraine. In the faux interview, 45 hit on a theme that Democrats and witnesses have raised during the impeachment hearings. How was it that Sondland, with no foreign policy experience and who was not the ambassador to Ukraine, found himself leading the United States policy with Ukraine? But he was really the European Union ambassador, and all of a sudden he's working on this. 45 said on Friday, ask about that. Sondland told lawmakers that 45 directed him to do so. and that 45 is trying to lie his way out of this one, so that's not going to work for him.